Hey everybody, welcome back to Ultima Online on the UOAlive server. Today I'm going to be going over something that I had a request for on the UOAlive Discord, and that is what to do when you first get into the game. You're past the point of the installation, you're moving on to the game itself, creating your character. So this is something that I really didn't think about because I've played since 97, but it was brought to my attention that some people are getting on UO for the first time, and I gotta be honest, I'm envious. I really am. Being able to experience this game for the first time would be awesome again. So first off, let's just start. We'll just name this UO Tester. And at this point, you've got three main options that you want to pick from, and that is Gargoyle. These creatures or characters can fly around at mounted speed, but you can never actually be mounted. So it does take up a character slot whenever, or a pet slot whenever you fly around, to my understanding. I've never played one. You don't see a lot of them on the server, unfortunately. I feel like maybe there should be, who knows. But they are really cool looking. They get to like hover in the air, and they have like wing armor that they can get, which is pretty cool. One other thing is that they actually have a boost to imbuing. So if you're looking to make a crafter, imbuing on a gargoyle is going to give you a bit of an advantage. So next up, we've got human and elf. Elves have a starting mana that's going to be a little bit higher. So if you're going to do a caster that is going to have low, starting intelligence, because like for example you are a caster melee and you really want your stats to go into strength and dex because of the fact that you want to hit faster and of course you want to have more HP, then you may want to go with an elf because they're going to have that boost on their mana points that they get as just being an elf. And of course, human is going to have more carry weight than like an elf would, for example. So if you're just looking to take everything you can out of a dungeon or whatever it may be, then this may be the character for you. So we'll just go ahead and go in here for human. I'm going to go ahead and click male. Now here you've got some preset selections: blacksmith, warrior, paladin, samurai, ninja, necro, and mage. You almost always want to click advanced because you want to be able to click what skills are going to go where. So for example, let's say you're going to be a paladin. You absolutely want chivalry to be one of your initial starting skills because that will get you a chivalry book already in your pack whenever you start. We'll go ahead and let's do swords. And then we'll go ahead and do anatomy. And then, I don't know, tactics, because this is going to be, the core setup for, let's say, a paladin. So strength, I'm going to set at 60. The other, the strength, intel, and dex, they're all very easy to raise later on. You've got free skills on this shard, so besides your 7 core skills, you can get to 100 plus 20 extra, or, 5 skills to 120 or whatever it may be. Or I'm sorry, 6 skills to 120. What you're going to want to look at here is just the free skills are going to allow you to get your core stats going to where you need them to be. So one of the things that I've got here is stats. I get this from Mandlar, and this will show you. So for example, lumberjacking is a free skill on here. So this is primarily going to raise strength, secondarily going to raise dexterity. So this, like I said, it's a free skill. So if you can go to a tinkerer or whatever, wherever you get the initial axe, you'll go and just start chopping down wood and get lumberjacking to 100. Lumberjacking is great. It lowers your special skills that you can utilize by half when you get to GM. And it's a great way to get strength and dexterity. So this is a great little site here. It's on uoguide.com, stats, #gaining_stats. So this is what we're going to do, set up here. When you go in, it'll select new player island. And then bam, we're in. So if you've never played the game before, this can be a little daunting because, you've got everything coming up, pop-ups. You've got this little guy right here. This is called a paper doll or a character screen. You can move this anywhere you want on the screen. Most people have it over here on the right side, but I mean, obviously this is all customizable for a reason. You do what you want to do with it. This is the global chat here. If for some reason you right click this, you just have to type in chat history with the parentheses box before it, and it will bring it back up. Very cool here. So the screen itself, okay, it's showing me I've got this, but the screen itself can be moved around. And you're probably thinking, oh, wow, man, Goldfish, this sucks. This is a tiny little screen. Well, yes, it is. So you're going to be able to like place this up here in the wall, though, and stretch this screen out by using the blue button here at the bottom right corner. So that makes it to where you've got a much larger screen. You can actually see, you know, your character doll and everything else down here. So starting out, before you do anything, you're going to want to make sure you go into your options here. And this is extremely important because there are some things that, in my opinion, just need to be done before you can really enjoy the game. So one of the things is going to be always run unless hidden. So this makes it to where your guy, if you wanted to choose like a stealther, if you were to run while you're trying to stealth, then you obviously will get unhidden and, you know, blow your cover there. So you always want to click always run unless hidden. Auto open doors. This will stop you from just running smack dab into a door and not being able to open it. Smooth doors. Okay. Auto open corpses. That means that if you kill something, it'll automatically open up its corpse for you. That way you can look at the goodies inside. Corpse range. I always keep this at 2 just because I feel like if you put it to 3, there are some things that you won't be able to loot because it's too far away. So it's kind of pointless. Skip empty corpses. This is huge too. You don't want to litter your whole screen. Let's say, example, you've got a wave of Mong bats coming at you and you're trying to fight, and then all of a sudden, you know, something larger and more menacing attacks you. Well, now you've got a screen full of empty Mong bat corpses that you just can't get off the screen without right-clicking each one of them. And you're sitting here trying to also, you know, fight something that's a little more challenging. Corpse open options, both not hiding, not targeting. So I just click both here. No color for object out of range. That's just going to make it like, okay, that's not bad for if you're like a caster or something, but you're good there. Show house content and smooth boat movements. These are both extremely important to me because I do a lot of IDOC hunting and a lot of stuff on the seas. So we'll go ahead and hit apply here. And that's just going to make it to where when I do move around, as you can see, I am now running no matter what, which is awesome. There's really no point in walking. Or at least in my opinion. Maybe you want to walk. If that's the case, then you can always turn off always run. Down here, you want to show HP mode less than 100%. That way it doesn't clog up your screen unless you need to see the percentages. So let's say that something's getting hit and it'll show like 80% on the screen. If not, you won't be cluttered by a bunch of percentages. You can change the colors up here. I never do. One other thing that I always do is turn on aura under feet. And that allows me to see, okay, so these are vendors. These are players. If I join a guild, the guild one will be green and they will be green. So it really lets you see what's going on around you without having to like pull up someone's actual, you know, bar and see where they are. Custom color for party members. So since guilds are green, I always change this to something different, like yellow or something. That way you know, like, yes, I'm in a guild, but my actual party on this event is going to be, let's just put it as, like, let's put it as dark blue. So that way, yes, I've got a bunch of green names around me that are in my guild, but in this case, I'm only in a group with these people in the guild, and I need to make sure that I focus on either healing them, defending them, taunting off of them, or whatever it may be. So down to another important part, gumps and context. Disable the menu bar. Why? Hold Alt key to move gumps. You don't want to have to hold the Alt key for any of it. So you want to make sure to unclick that, or at least I do. Close all anchored gumps when right click on a group. That is extremely important. That way you don't have to individually click each one. Use standard skills gump. That's great. Use old status gump. Don't do that. This is important too. If someone were to invite you into a group, it would be coming down here in the chat box and it just says, hey, press /accept to join. I miss that all the time. So what I always do is show gump for party invites. That way if someone invites you to a party, it actually pulls up a little pop-up and it says, do you want to join this party? That way you can say accept. Because after like 20 seconds, it just says that you auto decline to join. And you could have really wanted to join that group. You know, you just didn't see it. So always keep that on. And then let's see, don't want to save anything. Grid loot, you want to put on both. That way it pulls up the box itself and it pulls up the actual corpse, the little casket. So let's see here. Hold shift to split stack of items. You can do that if you want. I never really do. Enabled circle of transparency here. This is important because let's say, for example, I'm over here. Well, right now you can't see my character. But if you enable this, it allows this circle of transparency to where you can actually see behind things. This is important whenever you're out hunting and stuff and you're attacking something in the corner here and you know, all of a sudden they fall. Well, without obviously pushing Control Shift, you're not going to be able to see that corpse. This way you can see everything in that corner there. Let's see. So we've got down a show target range indicator. You can do that. I never do. Enable drag select to open health bars. This is extremely important. The reason why is you can now just drag, and anything within that box that you dragged will now pull up their health bars. So we've actually been able to pull up 2 player characters, 1 dog, and 2 unplayer NPCs. Select humanoids only. That would be if you wanted only to have humanoids pulled up on it, like obviously other player characters. And this is going to show where that pulls up. So for example, if I have my health bar over here and I have to monitor this the whole time I'm playing, because obviously I'm going to be a melee character on this guy, it's a Shiv Paladin, I'm going to want to have this as close to this as possible. That way I can monitor both at once if I'm attacking him or if I'm trying to heal him with say bandages or, you know, Shiv heals or whatever it may be. So you want to start playing with this over here to see if you can't adjust this to where it pulls up. Almost, pretty close, almost over here. So this adjusting will allow you to customize where this pulls up whenever you pull up a name. So I like to hide roof tiles and trees. You don't have to do that. The game is much prettier with trees in it, and I will show you exactly why. Whenever you're out here in the forest itself, obviously you're going to want to see the trees sometimes because it just makes the game much more beautiful. If you're out hunting, or like I don't know, doing treasure hunting or, you know, hunting for that kind of stuff, this can actually be a little bit more troublesome than it's worth. So if you hide the trees, they're just stumps. That way you can, you know, maneuver anywhere you want to go. You're not getting stuck on things you can't see. And whenever you get the chest pulled up, the chest could be right here under a tree, and it makes it very difficult to spot it if for some reason, you know, the tree's over it. So you can hide vegetation. I never do. I've never found it to be, you know, in the way of anything. So I like having that on. And then that is going to be the general tab. So moving right along, we've got the sound tab here. I like to turn off combat music because I find it to be the worst music in UO. But I absolutely love their other music. So I always keep music to 50. Typically because I do like to record what I do, and sometimes the music is a bit overwhelming as far as sound goes, trying to push out a good video. So that's the only reason I do it. If I didn't have videos going, I would obviously have music at 100 because I find the music in this game to be really good. So we can apply there. Now we're going to go to video. Video, you can mess with these. I never do, but if you're not going back and forth, tabbing in and out, you can play borderless. It's up to you. Default zoom, I always put it to 5, but I make sure that I enable mouse wheel for in-game zoom while holding control. And the importance of this is now I can zoom in and out at free will by just holding down the control and using the zoom or the scroll wheel on my mouse. So it's huge for me, especially when I'm hunting. I can actually see a little bit farther out than I could right here. So if the rare I'm hunting is over here, or if the Paragon Greater Dragon is over here, it's good to know that kind of stuff whenever you're hunting, especially as a new character. So keep that in mind. You can scroll out. Scrolling in, things do get a little more pixelated. Obviously, it is a little bit older of a game. I still don't find that to be anything that's game breaking or anything like that, though. So just keep that in mind as well. Alternate lights and light level. This really doesn't matter because you are going to be able to change that very quickly in the actual Razor settings themselves. So that's not a big deal. Macros. We will go over how to set up new macros in another video because there are quite a few that you can set up to make it to where you only have to press one button to target, engage, and honor the next thing you're about to fight each time. And you'll know why that's important, you know, once you start playing for a bit. So next up, we'll do tooltips. I never use any of these, so I don't know if that's something that you guys would want to use or not. Font, you can overrun the font of the game into something more, I guess, unique. I never do. Speech, this is another one that I find extremely important. Activate chat when pressing enter. Always click this. Reason why is you're going to set up keys and binds on your keyboard to do certain things. It's just something that all UO players do. And what you're going to get if you don't press that is you're going to fill up this little bar down here with all kinds of stuff that you're going to be doing. And when you press enter to try to talk to somebody, you're going to go bloop and give them all this stuff. So if you press this from now on, you can click all the things that you want to click without activating stuff. So you can click, 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 click. And whenever you do that, I'm keep hitting enter on accident, but whenever you do that, it's great. You won't actually pull that stuff up. So I can hit 1 as much as I want. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All follow me, and it won't do that. Now this is pulling up another profile in my set here. So it's pulling up my actual Sampire set in Razor. I'm not going to set this guy up in new Razor right now, simply because it's a character I'm going to delete. So you can hide guild chat, hide alliance chat, or change the color of the different kind of chats that you see. Combat spells, this is huge as well. Hold tab key for combat. No, that's horrible. You don't want to do that, because then you have to run around holding tab the whole game, because you're going to be fighting a lot. So query before attack, you don't have to do that either. There's no PvP on this server, so you can't really flag yourself as criminal. So I mean, it really doesn't matter to have that. Single click UI buttons. This is enormous to have, because you're going to want to have those single click buttons whenever you're doing spells, if you have anything on your screen that you want to use that's not a hotkey. So show buff duration, this is important as well. And enable fast spells assign, Control plus Alt. So we'll do that one and hit apply again. These are all different colors that there's going to, like right now I'm an innocent and it's going to show blue. You can change this up if you want to. Just keep in mind that everyone else is going to be seeing it different. I mean, they all got the chance to customize their own stuff. So don't think that you're cool because you're red now. That's only what you see. So I mean, it is what it is. Counters. You want to enable counters. And cell size. This one is pretty important to me, because this is going to be where you are going to be able to put things on like a little hotbar and actually allow yourself to see this stuff. So let's say that you want to make sure that you always have a record of your gold. Well, now it'll show you whenever you get 1,001 gold, 1,002 gold. Your bandages, it'll show that. And let's say that your thing gets clicked off. Now you can access your Shiv book right away by just clicking right there. So it's a really cool little hotbar. It's really good for counting any kind of reagents you might use as a mage. You can put them on here. Your moss, your black pearls, your other stuff on here. So very, very cool. Info bar. This is also a very important one that I really, really like using. And I always have this up. So whenever you apply, you definitely want the info bar up. But as you can see, it's lacking some stuff, you know? So you can actually come over here, like right here, it says name notoriety. You can go down here to gold and just type in gold right here. You can add more stuff too. So let's say that we want to go down here and we want our damage. Well, this is huge, okay? Whenever you put a new weapon on, you want to see what your damage is going to be. So we'll just put DPS. Next one we're going to do, we're going to come down here and we're going to see how much luck we have. Luck. It's important to track this stuff, because this is going to be what actually makes a difference on what you're getting as far as drops, things like that. So we don't really need any of this stuff. So defense chance increase, this is huge. And hit chance increase. We want these on here, especially if you're a melee. So we'll just put DCI and HCI. If you're not familiar with those, that's going to be defense chance increase and hit chance increase. So we'll go ahead and just put those on here and apply. So now we've got 0 luck, 0 DCI, 0 HL. Obviously we just started. DPS of 14 to 19 with this katana. And obviously we got the rest of it on there that we want. Containers. So you can actually change your container look inside and out by right here. So this is default. You've got suede. You've got polar bear skin. This is the one I use. And then you've got ghoul skin, and this one is just gross, but it's there as well. So if you wanted to be like an evil dude that, like, you know, eats puppies and stuff, this is something that you could put on there. I always just go with polar bear. I think it looks nice. It's a pretty cool little thing right here. Scale, I always like to put my scale up to about 140, and the reason I do that is that it just makes it bigger for me. I don't know if I'm just getting old or what, but and then you want to scale items inside. So as you can see right now, you got some tiny little items in this huge bag. Now they're going to be a little bit bigger, so that way you can actually click on them properly. Once you get your first ring and it drops in your bag and you're trying to click on that thing and it's tiny, you'll probably share the frustration with me. But that's what I do. So you want to use large containers gump, double click to loot items inside containers. So that means if you go up to, let's say, a chest and you want to double click an item to pull it, instead of having to pull it all the way over each single time, you can just double click it. Relative drag and drop items in containers. And that's pretty much all I do on that one. So experimental and ignore list, I don't mess with either one of these. So all of this stuff has now been completed on the general tab here. And that's our options. So you have the ability to customize your entire setup here, whether it be moving all of this around, moving everything up here. This does get in the way of the tab itself, but you can minimize this, which I never actually have this out anyways, so I minimize that. Alt R will pull up a little bitty compass here that shows north, east, southwest. Obviously, this is incredibly tiny and doesn't really do a whole lot of good anymore whenever there's this one. So you get to this by pulling this out and clicking world map, and then you can just, you know, switch it up to where it fits in the area that you need it to fit in. So I always kind of put it right above the chat. Now I can look around, zoom in, zoom out, and there's lots of things with the map that you can do. So if you right click it, you can go to location, you can put in all kinds of different coordinates, it'll show up. So this is extremely important to, like, go through here and experiment. Map marker option, there's just a bunch of stuff that you can do there. And then, of course, the other important thing on here is going to be journal. If someone walks by and they say, hey, well, you didn't see it. All you saw was the last of it because, you know, obviously you were running off the screen or something. You can go back and you can actually look at your journal and it'll show you, hey, UO Tester said, hey. And then you can turn off certain things. You can turn off objects. You can turn off guild, client, all that stuff. So just keep that in mind as well. If you do miss talking to somebody, then typically you're going to be able to find it in your journal. I like to go dark mode. All right, so there's some basics. Obviously, we can kind of deep dive into more of it on the second video here. I'm going to do like a little series that kind of just goes into more and more depth about how to get the game set up for you to optimize your playtime and not spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure out the ins and outs and how to maximize, you know, obviously what you're doing whenever you're in the game. So again, this is Goldfish and I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe and follow along for more. Thanks a lot, guys. See you out in Britannia.